Hey, Angus here, and I am really excited to review this bar. My son says I'm glazing this bar, and on God, no cap, this bar is incredible. When I first got this bar, I thought, right, this is a one-trick pony. It's an open trap bar, and it's gonna be cool for lunges. My other trap bar is gonna be great for trap bar deadlifts. It's got the high handle, so it's gonna be really useful, but this is gonna be good for walking lunges, and maybe farmer's carries at the most. But all this other stuff that I've seen people do with this bar, nah, it's not gonna be useful. It's not gonna be good. Like overhead press, not gonna be good. Squats, gonna be horrific for squats. It's just, and aesthetically, it's ugly. Let me tell you something, this bar is one of the most useful, coolest bars I've ever used, and I think it looks ugly. It's stronger than you think it's gonna be. I'll load it up, we'll have a little fun with it. You've got some crazy options. So we've got this little knurl here on the handles here, and it's rackable, which is cool. So I'm gonna put my middle finger on that knurl. I'm gonna wrap that round there, gonna pop it up for some overhead press. So my hands are either side of my head. So I'm just lining that middle finger, really conscious of that middle finger going the middle line. So for overhead press, I mean, it's not wobbly. I thought it would be wobbly. You got a bit of movement. It's not loaded up. There's just some fives on there. The bar itself is 45 pounds. Call it 20 kilos for us in the real world. So it's probably one of my favorite bars for overhead press. I like a neutral grip. I've got a neutral grip bar here in the gym, but this one just allows you to be free so you're not moving around your head. So movement one, great. These handles here on our chest supported attachment, you can also use a bench. For rows, it's wide enough for me, but it's fantastic because you can do a seal row, which is insane because we're running out of like heavy dumbbells for seal row movements, which means we now have a loadable thing. You put these fives on, and then other people can put on what weight they're doing. So when we're doing like a circuit or we're training in a group, especially men's class, we do a lot of chest supported rows. This is now the new apparatus for that. My favorite thing, and it's maybe unique to me with this bar, is squats. This bar mimics a front squat, similar to the way the really expensive kind of Kabuki transformer bar works, where you can push the weight forward. So this is kind of like a camber bar, but it's different still. Let me just show you the setup. Maybe I've got the setup a little bit high. So get your hood out of the way, rotate this round. You want your back on this bit. I'm a big dude, and this fits with space. You can have your hands here, or you can have your hands here. You just want to drive that forward. So when we unrack, that would be a different height there. The weight is forward, so the weight there is kind of in line where this little mark is here, where my thumb is wiggling. So it's forward, so it's more like a front squat, but it's loaded on my back. So we're not doing one of these awful front squat things where we've got our hands bent backwards and etc. Especially if you don't have the mobility. So as that weight is forward, it really allows you to keep an upright back. I'm a big fan of a safety squat bar, which is great, which is nice and padded. But this bar, it's just more front squatty. The weight is so much more in front. So when you squat, you're upright, boom. And again, rackable, boom, boom, you're on. We'll load it up and see how crazy heavy this thing can go. But overall, this bar is super unique, and it's not a jack of all trades. It's actually a master of them all. I really, really, really like this bar. The only main problem I've got is the rackable space here is actually quite small, so you don't have a lot of room to play with. So when it's heavy and you're trying to reload it, you can't hit off there. So someone to guide you in. So a detail you might be interested in is this is kind of ribbed going along there, and they might have done that so you don't need to put a collar on it if you're just doing some trap bar deadlifts, because the weight doesn't fall that far, because it kind of slows the weight coming on and off. I wish they just left it smooth, because I don't really like this weighting on the inside of my weight plates, because I would just use a collar anyway. So the bar is rated up to 700 pounds, which is more than enough for most people. I don't know if it would be a maxing out bar per se. I think it's really useful to get sets and reps in, and something that's kind of fallen out of fashion, or maybe I'm just not in the circles anymore, is barbell complexes. This thing would be sweet for a barbell complex.